A legal advisor to former President Donald Trump's 2020 campaign testified before a special grand jury today. Jenna Ellis was ordered by a judge in Colorado to travel to Georgia for this court appearance. The grand jury is looking into whether Mr. Trump and others illegally tried to influence the 2020 election in Georgia. Prosecutors are interested in Ellis's role in helping to coordinate hearings in Georgia and other states where false claims of election fraud were pushed. Joining me now is senior reporter for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Tamar Hallerman. Tamar, great to have you with us. What do we know about Jenna Ellis's testimony today?
We don't know a whole lot at this point. As you mentioned, Major, a judge in Colorado directed her to show up today to come testify. We do know that Fulton prosecutors and the grand jury are interested in asking her about three main things. The first is her participation in some December 2020 hearings in front of the Georgia legislature, where her, Rudy Giuliani, and others connected with the Trump campaign echoed many conspiracy theories and falsehoods about the Georgia elections. It's where Rudy Giuliani played the famous edited tape of the State Farm Arena, where he talked about what he saw as a smoking gun for fraud. She also authored some legal memos for the Trump campaign that talked about appointing alternate Trump electors in swing states like Georgia. And they're also interested in asking her about any coordination between Trump campaign officials when it came to Georgia.
And Tamar, just to go back to the point you raised, the first and those three, this hearing where this tape was talked about as a smoking gun, to remind our audience, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation looked into that thoroughly, did it not?
It did, as well as our Secretary of State, and they very quickly issued some statements basically refuting everything that Rudy Giuliani and his team were saying. That there's no evidence of fraud. They looked into these allegations of so-called suitcases full of ballots, and none of that came to pass. Even the Justice Department looked into it. And still, Rudy Giuliani's subpoena notes that he continued to echo those falsehoods for weeks and months after. And so that certainly is something I'm sure the grand jury will be asking Ms. Ellis about.
And another aspect of this, Georgia's Republican governor, Brian Kemp, is fighting a subpoena to testify in this particular investigation. Has there been a judicial ruling on that today? And why does the Fulton County DA want to hear from the governor?
Sure. Well, there was a hearing just this morning in front of a Fulton County judge about that matter. He did not say how he was going to rule. He didn't really give a timeline about when he'd make that ruling, but I'm expecting that in the coming days. He usually acts pretty fast. Now, Governor Kemp was at the center of a pressure campaign, starting with President Donald Trump, who called him in the weeks after the 2020 elections, pressing him to convene a special session of the Georgia legislature in order to overturn Joe Biden's win. The governor, of course, pushed back. He said he didn't have the legal authority to do that. It would lead to a bunch of litigation. And still, the president continued to pressure him for weeks and months afterwards. And so we know the grand jury is interested in asking him about that, as well as the phone call that President Trump gave to Brad Raffensperger, who serves in his administration as well.
One other thing, South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham continues to fight efforts to testify. What's the latest?
Sure. Well, a panel of judges in the federal appeals 11th Circuit has directed a lower level judge to look into whether there's kind of guidelines that can be set in terms of the questions that can be asked of Senator Graham. If you can't completely kill his subpoena, and this judge has already ruled that she does not want to do that, she does not think there's grounds for that, is there kind of a more limited way, guardrails that can be set in order to not run aground of things like legislative immunity and the Constitution's speech or debate clause.
Tamar Hallerman with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. We thank you so much.
Anytime.